Commonwealth, Commonwealth, the former empire, now Commonwealth. Is it relevant? Probably not, but why not give this part a shot? Stay tuned, here comes Uncommonwealth, the podcast.
And we're live. Welcome back, everybody, to the Midtown studios of the Uncommonwealth podcast. I want to play a game with you guys I've devised called England, Tally-ho, pip-pip, fuck off, or New England. Go Pats, the Sox, lobsters. All right, England and New England. Restaurant under fire for offering steak for women, which is smaller than the other steaks on the menu.
Wow.
England or New England, and also your thoughts on this practice.
New England.
Was it the same price, but just a smaller portion?
No, it's the portion
of
and the price are commensurate with the sign. Some word that means the same.
Well, that's just weird because most places would have, this is a 12-ounce steak or a 16-ounce steak. But...
Yeah. Like, you could just order the smaller steak.
Right.
This is smaller than the smallest steak.
Ah.
I mean, I would probably be excited for that option. I don't know if it needs to be...
The restaurant manager said it's one of their biggest sellers.
The smaller portion steak.
The lady's steak.
The lady steak. But amongst ladies, or can guys order the lady steak?
Oh.
Well, that's part of it. Like, if there's a menu and there's a woman's steak and a man's steak, you feel obligated.
That's great marketing.
That's
great marketing.
Wow.
I think there should be gender neutral steak.
Well, that's the real problem with this. It's not.
Adam.
Yeah, calm down. Calm down.
Crinkling.
Whatever.
Adam was blowing his nose while sticking up for trans rights.
Yes.
It was impressive.
Yes, that's right.
Sorry.
I think
Nothing will stop him
You
from.
have to edit it out.
Adam's going to start practicing the drums during this podcast recording. Okay, so Piers...
England or New England? Adam.
I'm going England again.
I'm going New England.
Definitely New England.
Manhattan Bar and Grill in Liverpool, UK.
Yeah. Oh, that was tricky.
That was
you said Manhattan.
Fuck tease.
Yeah, that was definitely a tease.
One woman on the internet wrote, gender-specific steak ridiculous, like gender-specific gin, can't be doing with it. Guess what, people? Women drink Navy strength too, and eat big steak. So I think she's related to that woman on the horse. Karen.
You know what? One of the things I love the most about America is that you're allowed to take food home from restaurants. Because in Australia, you're not allowed to.
What?
You're not allowed to?
No, there was a bunch of cases where people got food poisoning or something and they sued restaurants. They took food home but left it in their fridge for a week or whatever. So restaurants wouldn't let you take food home. So if I go and I'll order a huge steak and just take half at home. It's amazing.
I don't have the take-home gene in me. I finish it. I went to a school where they wouldn't let you get up from the table if you hadn't finished your food. And basically, if you hadn't finished and everyone else had finished, the whole class would be watching you.
Like that scene in Matilda where he has to eat the chocolate cake.
I went to that school.
That sounds
Matilda.
horrible.
Trunchbull. I had a Trunchbull.
Trunchbull.
All right, one final quick one. Do I have time?
Sure.
All right, you can name a cockroach after your ex to celebrate Valentine's Day. A zoo offered the option to help them raise money to name a cockroach after your ex to celebrate Valentine's Day. England or New England? Also, thoughts?
New England.
How does a cockroach remember its name?
I think
It's such a
No,
play.
if you broke up with someone named...
That's like when people can you can pay to name a star or
Yeah.
that's just it's a pet rock scam.
But if you broke up with Elizabeth Sweeney and she was awful to you, you could name a cockroach at the zoo Elizabeth Sweeney.
Yeah, but are they going to be able to keep track of which cockroach is Elizabeth Sweeney?
Oh, you can.
And why did you have such a specific name right off the top of your head?
Piers, do you need to tell us something?
Are they going to label the cockroaches and then put them on display?
Yes, it's on the display.
Oh.
Do you guys do cockroach racing here?
Do you do it where you come from?
It's that's a thing in Australia.
Really?
They basically have a big circular mat. So imagine a bullseye that's really huge.
Right.
And they just dump a bunch of cockroaches in the middle, and people have bet. I forget how they paint the cockroaches.
That's
I don't
amazing.
know. But they do that with cane toads as well, frogs.
What's a cane toad?
A cane toad is a pest that's like an Australian pest. When they had the cane sugar, there were a lot of bugs that were eating all the cane sugar, so they brought over this toad from, I think from England.
The cane toad.
They brought the cane toad over to eat the bugs,
right?
And then the cane toads now became a pest, and they're everywhere.
Oh, I've seen videos of people just doing horrendous.
I did that as a kid. I feel bad about it now, but they're the most disgusting looking animal you can imagine. It's like a toad that's all warty and brown and gross.
Warty.
Yeah. So cockroach racing is a big
and
thing.
you can't handicap cockroach racing, so it's good for bedding.
Yes.
And cockfighting is a thing.
Cockfighting. Yeah, that's when you take your pants off and have a good time.
I don't.
Cockroaches, they got to, what is it? You know when they say, if you see one, there's like 100 that you don't see. I've always found that to be such a weird, like they're the fucking Illuminati or something.
Why would there be one though? Like if you have,
he's a representative.
I just saw a huge cockroach, like the size of my, like the palm. The body was the size of my palm in my apartment. And it just I didn't get to it in time. It just scurried under, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna have to forget that happened.
So where was that, by the way?
That was in England.
Manhattan, England.
The podcast.
So in previous episodes, I've enjoyed telling you guys about some Australian slang words and phrases. But this time around, I wanted to see if you guys, and particularly peers, are aware of some of these slang words, because I actually looked up all the Cockney rhyming slang.
No.
So, Piers, I don't know whether this is how common these phrases actually are in England, but you see them in the movies and stuff, and they make absolutely zero sense. So, question one, are they actually used? But two, I want to see if you guys can identify these Cockney things I've Googled, because I have no idea what they actually mean. The first of which, if we said, be careful not to offend the baked bean. Particularly, don't allow your dog to sleep with hers.
The baked bean is the corgi.
No. Baked bean's queen.
Of course.
Sorry, that's a good point, because they all rhyme. All of these Cockney things, they all rhyme.
Maybe you should say the word and then use it in a sentence, because it was confusing.
That's fair enough. Okay, let me redo it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Take two. I'm going to skip that one then.
No, do that one again, because I know the answer this time.
The Cockney rhyme is baked bean.
Queen.
Shit, Adam. Damn it.
Very good, Mueller.
You ruined it.
All right. What's the next one is butcher's hook. And in a sentence, it would say, I want to go take a quick butcher's hook.
A look.
Good one. That's it.
Yeah.
But it's longer to say butcher's
They
hook.
actually shorten it to just a butcher's. I'm going to go.
So you've heard that one, Piers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you say, I want to go take a butcher's, and that means to go take a look?
Yeah.
I didn't hear you say these are all Cockney expressions.
So this is how cab drivers that get thrown in jail for fighting at football matches. This is how they speak.
The explosives guy from Ocean's 11.
Yes.
Always used. Yeah.
That was the next one, because
Don Cheadle.
I had heard in that movie is Barney Rubble.
Trouble.
Yeah, trouble.
Trouble, yeah. What about trouble and strife?
Life?
Last night I last night I had a pickle with the trouble and strife.
Oh.
Wife.
Yeah, husband and wife.
Here's another one, which this you'll probably get, because I didn't realize this was Cockney. This is commonly used, is chew the fat.
Oh, I love that one.
What, can you use it in a sentence?
I met up with my mate Mickey last weekend, and we had a chew of the fat.
We chatted, talked.
Have a conversation, yeah.
Chat, chew the fat.
Oh, I've heard that expression. We chew
exactly.
the fat. Yeah.
I didn't realize that was Cockney.
I didn't know that either.
That frequently.
I want to use that.
That's a great one.
All right, what are some other good ones I got here? The old dog and bone.
What's that one? I don't know that one.
Let me think of that in a sentence. I'm sick of having to answer. Oh, that's going to give it away. I was going to say sick of having to answer the old dog and bone.
Telephone.
Phone. Yep. It's also, Piers, do you hear these in day-to-day conversation?
I mean, most of the ones you're using are pretty common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pig's ear. Oh, I could do with the pig's ear.
Beer.
Yep.
I've heard I've made a pig's ear of it, which means I've screwed it up.
What about, this one's good. Sausage and mash.
Crash.
What was that?
It's cash.
Ah.
Oh.
I don't know how usable as a sentence this is, because I just say something.
I got to go to the ATM for some sausage and mash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I assume that's how they say it.
What I like about these is that they make the thing longer. They're not actually. It's not like it's not like when someone's like za for pizza. Like it's on a shorter form. It makes it way longer, but it's way more fun to say.
Yeah. But
That's
so
cool.
there are a lot of them which, again, like I didn't realize these were Cockney because I'm sure you've all heard like, all right, let's get down to brass tacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of these things you're like, oh, that's where the origin of it is, because brass tacks is facts, so it's like a Cockney
it's just a rhyme. But I use brass tacks, and I never think of facts. I just know it's like a term of art. Like I just know what it means. There's no story. It's just a rhyme.
And why would you get down to brass? Like why down?
The podcast. Here's Adam with 2 truths and a lie, and sometimes they're all lies.
First, it's going to be sort of like a 2 truths and a lie / multiple choice lightning round. So the first question is, which of these Michaels is Canadian?
George.
Oh.
Michael J. Fox, Michael Bublé, Lorne Michaels.
Michael Bublé.
Lorne Michaels.
I believe
All
it's
of
pronounced Bubbles.
Catherine, what?
Those are all Canadian.
Correct. They're all now I'm going to give this is still lightning round. 2 truths and a lie, celebrity causes. So the first one, Pamela Anderson, animal rights. The second one, Leonardo DiCaprio, the environment. The third one, Mel Gibson, the Holocaust Museum.
I'm going to door number 3.
Going with door number 3.
His PR person suggested it, but he said no.
He said it didn't happen.
Fair enough. Okay. Lightning round. 2 truths and a lie. Top Gun quotes from the 1986 movie Top Gun.
Oh.
Quote number 1, Maverick saying, "I feel the need for speed." Mm-hmm. Quote number 2, Air Boss Johnson saying, "Negative, Ghost Rider, the pattern is full." Quote number 3, Maverick again, "Talk to me, Mongoose."
There it is. The Mongoose made it in.
Right, so
I feel
which is the truth and which is the lie?
Adam, I feel like we should. Have you seen those movies? You know, like that viral clip where they showed Star Wars and they dubbed every time a lightsaber would like strike it, they dubbed it over with Owen Wilson saying, "Wow."
Yes.
I feel like we should do Top Gun and they should replace every time that he says goose with Mongoose.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that Owen Wilson Star Wars thing's hilarious if you haven't seen it.
I'm gonna have to look.
I gotta check that out.
Wow.
Wow.
We're still going lightning round. Commonwealth trivia. How many cities in the world are called London?
6.
12.
You're going with 6?
6.
Like 12.
Jimmy said 12.
13.
Can I revise
Again
mine?
with the Price is Right.
Revise mine to 65?
Yes, you can. The answer is, but the answer is 6.
Ah.
And do you know where they are?
Pierce.
Can you name where they are, Pierce?
One in Ontario.
London, Ontario, London, England. There's London in somewhere in New England. There's London, Derry. There's London.
These are cities.
So
it's England, Ontario, California, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Ohio.
Wow.
All in the U.S.
Yeah.
So funny.
Well, that makes sense with the
How many
heritage. That's why
What was I thinking
surprised.
of? There's New London
Doesn't
in
really.
New
Connecticut.
London. Doesn't count.
I'm
There's a new one in
surprised there's so
Connecticut.
few, because isn't there like a Springfield in every state or something? Isn't there some, or a Washington?
Springfield is like, but I'm not sure what the definition of city versus town is, to be honest. I think it's just a population.
No, I remember it's got to do with, at least I thought, it had to do with whether or not the city had like a cathedral or a church or something.
Cities have alligators and towns have crocodiles.
The podcast.
This is a news segment called 4 Idiots Talk About Bears. Enjoy. When I was a kid, we used to go to the Canadian Rockies, and there was a spot on the road where there were signs that said, "Don't feed the bears." And if you pulled up your car to the side of the road, there'd be these grizzly bears, these monstrous grizzly bears, hoping that some terrible, idiotic tourist that can't read the sign would throw food to them. And I was terrified as a kid seeing these bears because I assumed that if you threw food to them, that they came and they just ate you and the car. And then I remember you'd go to these hiking trails and there were signs that said, if you go hiking, please tie a bell to your shoelace because the bell will scare away the bears. And I was just like, well, how does that work? They're not afraid of you when you're in your car, but you put a tiny bell on your shoelace and they're terrified?
If anything, wouldn't the bells signal to a bear that you, the human who they already associate with food, was nearby? Are little jingly bells really the last sound you want to hear as you're being eaten alive?
what you're meant to do in a bear attack is actually based on what type of bear it is, like the specific species. Like I think it's a grizzly is the one that you play dead for, and then like a brown bear or whatever is the one you try and scare off, and then I don't know if it's a hairy large man, you call it daddy or whatever.
What do you do for a teddy bear?
And why tie them to your shoes? Wouldn't they be better off in your hands? Bells on shoes would be like those lights you had on your sneakers as a kid, except they'd only be activated when you're running for your life.
It's like light up Skechers, only it jingles. Jingle bells. Bell Skechers. Light up bell Skechers. Well, I think we're onto something.
If you run fast enough, does it hit a certain pitch frequency like a dog whistle that brings down charging grizzlies? Should I just assume flipper maracas would work on a great white shark?
What's a flipper maraca?
Also, what is it with bear advice? It is all over the map. I've heard from multiple documentaries that the best thing to do is to square up to the bear to show you're not afraid of him.
I think you're confusing bears with frat brothers.
And yet, I've never seen someone do it. Where is the YouTube tutorial for any of this advice? Where is the masterclass?
I definitely think you've identified a masterclass gap. I want to go back to this species thing. I'd never heard that your reaction should be different based on the type of species the bear is. Is that really true?
But it's like, I feel like that's terrible advice, because unless you're a park ranger or some other bear expert, like you're not going to mid-bear attack be able to identify the specific type of bear attacking you. That's like, same for the advice about a shark, like, you know, how you're meant to punch it on the eye to stop it attacking you, which, like,
For an Australian, I can see how punching a bear might seem intimidating, but as a Canadian woman, this is just something that we were told we might have to do one day.
I wouldn't be able to punch a human in the eye if I was in a fight with a person, let alone if I was in an underwater fight with a shark. I'm not going to pull off the accuracy required for an eye punch.
Jimmy, you always find a way to bring it back to sharks. Let's go back to bears. Catherine, didn't you say you had a bear story?
When I was 7 years old, on a hike with my mother, when we came between a baby cub and a mother bear.
Oh, shit!
This is the worst place you can be, other than...
Forget Saskatchewan. Call back.
For us, we were frightened. We didn't want the mother bear to attack, so we rattled our shoes. Luckily, there were bells on them. They did save us, those bells.
Saved by the bell. Yeah, I said it.
In fact, we wished we had more bells. We clapped our hands, we yelled, and we ran for our lives. I'm faster than my mother, so I got ahead of her. But of course, I made sure I wasn't too far ahead, because I'm also Canadian, and I care about my family and other people, but mostly my family. We survived. And if I had a chance to live it all over again, I would still go on that hike, because I learned a valuable lesson that day. Small bells on your running shoes can save your life.
Like the Empire, we're almost done. We hope that you've had lots of fun. Was it relevant? Probably not. But thanks for giving this part a shot. Stay tuned for the end of Uncommon Wealth, the podcast.
No illegal drugs were used in the making of this podcast episode. So yeah, this has been a weird episode, but hey, what are you going to do? As George Lucas said after Attack of the Clones, they can't all be winners. See you next week, folks.
The podcast.